Have you ever noticed how your fuel gauge seems to drop faster when you're stuck in traffic, even though you're barely moving? You sit there, inching forward, stopping, starting, waiting, burning fuel without really getting anywhere. It feels counterintuitive. After all, shouldn't driving fast use more fuel than crawling along at a snail's pace? Yet time and time again, traffic seems to be where your gas disappears the quickest. Today, we will uncover why your car drinks more fuel when it's barely moving, right here on History of Simple Things. To understand what's really going on, we have to start with a simple idea. Your car doesn't just use fuel to move, it uses fuel to stay alive. Even when your vehicle is completely still, the engine is still running. This is called idling, and it's one of the biggest reasons fuel gets wasted in traffic. While idling, your engine continues to burn fuel just to keep itself turning, powering systems like the alternator, air conditioning, and electronics. You're not gaining any distance, but your tank is still slowly emptying. Now imagine that situation stretched over minutes or even hours of traffic congestion. Every second your car idles, it consumes a small amount of fuel. Individually, it might seem insignificant, but over time it adds up. In fact, modern cars typically burn anywhere from about 0.6 to 1.2 liters of fuel per hour while idling, depending on engine size and conditions. That's fuel being used with zero progress down the road. But idling is only part of the story. The real fuel drain comes from what happens next: stop-and-go driving. Traffic isn't just about standing still, it's about constantly accelerating and braking. And acceleration is one of the most fuel-intensive actions your car performs. When you press the gas pedal to move forward, your engine has to work much harder than when cruising at a steady speed. It injects more fuel into the cylinders to generate the power needed to get the car moving. This repeated cycle, accelerate, brake, is incredibly inefficient. Every time you slow down, the energy you just used to speed up is lost, mostly as heat through your brakes. Then, when traffic moves again, your engine has to burn more fuel to rebuild that lost momentum. It's like trying to push a heavy object forward over and over again, only to stop it abruptly each time. You're constantly spending energy without maintaining any of it. Compare that to highway driving, where your car can maintain a steady speed. At a consistent pace, especially between about 50 to 80 kilometers per hour, most vehicles operate near their optimal fuel efficiency. The engine doesn't have to constantly adjust or work harder, it simply maintains motion. That's why long, uninterrupted drives often result in better mileage than short, stop-filled trips. Another factor that makes traffic worse for fuel consumption is engine inefficiency at low speeds. Internal combustion engines are designed to operate most efficiently under moderate loads and steady conditions. In traffic, however, the engine rarely reaches that sweet spot. Instead, it operates in a less efficient range, where more fuel is burned relative to the power being produced. Essentially, your engine is working harder than necessary for very little output. Then there's the issue of gear shifting, especially in automatic transmissions. In stop-and-go traffic, your car is constantly shifting between lower gears. Lower gears provide more power but are less efficient when it comes to fuel use. Each shift requires adjustments in engine performance, which can lead to additional fuel consumption. Manual drivers may try to optimize their shifting, but even then, the constant interruptions make efficiency difficult to maintain. Traffic conditions also tend to increase the use of auxiliary systems, particularly air conditioning. When you're stuck in traffic, especially on a hot day, you're more likely to keep the AC running at full blast. Air conditioning systems draw power from the engine, which in turn requires more fuel. The slower you move, the less natural airflow you get, making the AC work even harder to cool the cabin. Interestingly, the design of your vehicle also plays a role. Larger engines typically consume more fuel at idle and during acceleration. Heavier vehicles require more energy to get moving, which means more fuel is burned each time traffic starts flowing again. Even something as simple as tire pressure can make a difference. Underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, forcing the engine to work harder in already inefficient conditions. Modern cars have introduced technologies to combat this problem, such as start-stop systems. These systems automatically shut off the engine when the car comes to a complete stop and restart it when you press the accelerator. By eliminating idle time, they can significantly reduce fuel consumption in traffic. However, not all vehicles have this feature, and some drivers choose to disable it due to the slight delay or unfamiliar feel when restarting. Hybrid vehicles take this concept even further. In heavy traffic, hybrids can switch to electric power at low speeds or while idling, drastically reducing fuel usage. That's why hybrids often perform exceptionally well in city driving compared to traditional gasoline cars. Fully electric vehicles, of course, eliminate fuel consumption entirely, but that's a different story altogether. So when you're sitting in traffic and watching your fuel gauge drop, it's not your imagination. It's a combination of physics, engineering, and human behavior all working against efficiency. Your car is burning fuel to stay running, using extra energy to repeatedly get moving, and operating outside its most efficient conditions. Every small factor adds up, turning slow traffic into one of the least fuel-efficient driving scenarios. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.